Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the SmackDown Live Recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'm your host, John Rocha, joined as always by the CEO of the Pro Wrestling Sheet over there, Ryan Satin. How are you, man?
I am doing great, thank you. It's a little less hot today in SoCal.
A little bit.
But honestly, the difference between 95 and 98 and 85 and 88 is a huge little bit, in my opinion.
It is. It's between I'm dead, I can't walk to get lunch.
Exactly.
Or I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to Uber 50 feet to the subway to get lunch.
Because their AC is already pumping.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't rev up. It doesn't have to rev up. How did you feel about SmackDown last night? Was this a cool down or was this a hot episode? What would you feel?
I enjoyed last night's SmackDown. I think that there are obviously parts I'm gonna nitpick. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
but
that's what we do.
But I think overall it was a good show. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. I think it was a good mixture of good matches with a lot. There was a lot of vignettes and a lot of conversation on this particular show, but there were some good matches too to kind of balance things out. Miz TV starts us off. I came to blah, comes out, does his whole thing. He makes fun of following the script. I don't know if that's a pushback on Moxley. I don't know if it's a pushback on Shane or on Vince or anything like that, but maybe they're leaning into the joke of it.
See,
and misspellings and stuff.
Well, it's what I was saying yesterday, and I'm honestly going to dig into it a little bit now.
Sure, yeah.
Because my hunch is just leading me to believe this, that they have given them an iota of leeway here. Because even Shane, Monday and last night, as much as I disliked this segment, there are little like Shane-isms that he's been throwing in that feel like they're not scripted for him. Like he said on Monday, he said something like, "That was intense, man," or something. He said something along those lines that cracked me up, and it didn't sound like something he was scripted to say. It sounded like a reactionary thing that he said in the moment. And same with last night. I forget what the line was.
Called him the pest of the world.
No. When Shane said something, Shane said something last night that just didn't feel scripted. I was like, it felt like something Shane himself blurted out, and I could be wrong. They could be things that were scripted for him. I know that obviously there are still lines being scripted for them. Yeah. Someone pointed out how Drew McIntyre had one really inauthentic line about physically assaulting someone on Raw. Besides, obviously there are things still scripted for them, but I feel like they've been given a little leeway here. Yeah, well, because like you said, even that scripted line felt like it was a little bit of a jab.
A jab, yeah, exactly. It felt like that overall. And then he comes out and they talk about it, he introduces Shane. Shane comes out with McIntyre, Drew McIntyre, and Elias at the top of the ramp. And as they're coming down the show, highlights from the Superstar Showdown. Or Super Showdown, rather, when...
Oh, yeah, you said that. Yeah, some guy tweeted me today and was so mad about it.
Yeah, it was Super Showdown. Apologies. But they are superstars, so kiss my ass. But anyway, they went at it verbally about this whole situation. Shane asks Mike Rum to give him a proper introduction. Shane highlights Elias, but then you suck chants break out about Elias. And then Miz says Roman systematically kicks Shane's ass, then plays a promo of Reigns and McIntyre responding to Reigns' comments about. So there was a whole thing that went all around this to promote these upcoming matches. And then out of nowhere, Shane says, "Oh, do you want to fight me again, Miz?" And says, "Well, you got to beat Elias and McIntyre, then you get to fight the best in the world." The fans were hot for this, so maybe this Shane heel turn is finally working.
I mean, it's clicking a little bit.
It's clicking
a little bit. Like I said, the past Monday's Raw and last night's SmackDown were definitely more natural feeling from Shane. Yeah, I felt.
So maybe that's what's getting over.
I don't know. Okay. I mean, people. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I think he's getting over as a heel. I mean, he's clearly the main heel in WWE right now, based on how much TV time he's given. Well, so I don't know. I just when I watched this, I was like, oh man, like the first 30 minutes of the show dedicated to Shane McMahon. Like it's a lot of Shane McMahon, but it's Shane McMahon time. Like he's clearly they're trying to position him as the new Vince who wrestles all the time though, and
they're leaning into it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy. I don't know. We'll see if it pays off.
Let's see if it pays off, Cotton. But Miz calls him a talentless hack and says, he's a member of the Lucky Sperm Club, so to speak.
Which I thought was funny.
Born in which McMahon's always have to suffer those kinds of digs. And then we get the matches starting out. Elias takes on Miz. Elias, to me, as I was watching this match, it occurred to me, is this the new Hillbilly Jim? Like, he wears the pants, like Jim wears he's just ripped as, Hillbilly Jim was ripped. He was not some yokel off the farm. Like, that guy was ripped. And he fights in this kind of the same style a little bit. So I wonder if this is the new generation Hillbilly Jim, because he's not quite there, but he's certainly there enough to hang out with the guys who are there.
I'm going to need a more updated comparison.
Oh, my God. I don't know that there is one, for God's sakes, you know. But anyway.
I'm trying to think of someone in the 90s.
Hillbilly is still around. You know, he hosts a Sirius XM show on Western country music there. So anyway, he's great at it, too. But Miz gets
I'm sure you're listening to country radio all the time, Rocha.
I like country radio. I love country radio. You
that
kidding?
Explains the cowboy hat now.
Yeah, thank you. And Westerns. Miz ends up beating Elias.
I've always wished I had the have you ever been able to wear the cowboy hat at a non-Schmodown function? And if not,
good question.
Do you have the confidence to do so?
I could if I went to a Western bar.
Just like sport, just anything.
Going to a
like I saw someone wear a cowboy hat to my sister's graduation, and I was like, "That's cool."
Was you wearing a suit
cool.
with the hat?
Yes.
Okay, that's how you do it.
Not a suit, just nice clothes.
That's how you do it. You can get away with it like that. I'm not going.
Like, how much was your cowboy hat?
I'm not going $300.
Damn.
Yeah. The new one that I had, the summer one, that one was 120.
But you have multiple cowboy hats? How many cowboy hats do you have?
I'm in the process, if things work out a little bit on the voiceover side of things, to having 2 or 3 more. Ooh. I want a tan one. I want a white one.
But you only wear them at Schmodown?
Only wear them at Schmodown.
But I thought, aren't you not doing as many Schmodown events anymore?
And in the bedroom. What?
Aren't you not doing as many Schmodown events anymore?
Well, it depends on the wins and the losses.
All right,
Yeah. I got a big tag team match coming up against Team Corruption, which are the heels of the Schmodown right now. But yeah,
screw those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who's
screw
on that
those
team.
guys.
Probably
it's Kalinowski and Chance Ellison and Ken Knapsack.
Oh,
and
I like
Grace
Ken,
Hancock.
actually. I don't want to say screw Ken.
Ken's and Stacey Howard. She's part of it as well.
Ken's a good guy. I like that guy.
Anyway, Elias loses to Miz. Miz moves on to fight McIntyre. I thought they were going to have him beat McIntyre, but this was actually a nice twist.
I think that was smart of them to do. Yeah. I was worried.
Shane gets on him. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. I was really worried that they were going to have McIntyre lose to Miz, and I was like, really? Like, McIntyre shouldn't be losing to Miz right now.
Now.
Especially because Miz, as we know, is very Teflon. Like, I don't think he really gets more or less over based on his wins and losses. It's Miz. People are just, it's Miz. He is what he is. I don't think he's one of those people that it really matters unless he's on like giant losing streak.
Which he kind of is, dude. To Shane, he's lost 3 times now. This one counts. It's in the record books. They rang the bell.
Okay.
There was a referee. He tapped out.
And it didn't. I don't think it's affected him at all.
No.
I don't think it's. I mean, it's maybe not helped him become as strong of a face character, but at the same time, I don't think it's hurt him either.
I think that's what I'm concerned about more than anything else, is that I feel like, okay, the losses don't really hurt Shane, but as a believable contender for titles right now, this rivalry with Shane has really undercut him as a viable candidate for these kinds of things, because no one's clamoring for him to be part of it. He's still getting TV time.
I think mid-card title is where he's going to be at right now.
Yeah, for now.
U.S.
Once
title,
again, going back down
title.
and then coming back up again.
Yeah, because like we said on the Raw recap, his whole thing with Samoa Joe was pretty hype.
Yeah,
so,
it was.
I mean, I wouldn't care about that.
That would be fun.
And I think that's where why Miz is as great as he is, because he can be served, and you could put him in any part of the card and he'll deliver.
That's true.
In any role, any part of the card. Velveteen Dream, he's been on this whole kick on Instagram about defending WWE creative, and
which is very interesting.
Yeah, I think so too, especially since he's not on the main roster and doesn't really know. But regardless, he's pointing out, well, his initial comparison was terrible.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
Yes.
Where he's talking about the 90s, Star Wars in the 90s. Those movies were not better than the ones in the 80s.
No, that was ridiculous.
George Lucas is no longer part of the franchise.
Yeah.
And they're also great, the movies now.
Right.
That aside, he said today he tried to kind of defend his point, and he said something along the lines of like the best performers are the ones who are able to make it work, even bad stuff. And so then he posted a picture of every wrestler who he, in his opinion, has made it work.
Oh, wow.
And Miz was one of them. Here, I'll pull it up real fast so I can tell you some of his examples. But he said, let's see, he says, Where's some of the ones? Here we go. So he said, people who made it, he said, here's it. Most of you hate being wrong. You must do what you have to do in order to do what you want to do. Case in point, this series will show you talent who made what they were given work, good and bad. Santino Marella made it work. Damian Sandow as a stunt double made it work.
Where's Damian now?
The Miz made it work, and he's still making everything given to him work.
Sure.
Chris Jericho literally made it work, makes everything work.
Right.
Farouk, Godfather, The Rock, and D'Lo, they made the Nation work.
Sure.
Eugene, my friend Eugene, he made it work. Be like Eugene. He said a wrestling clown, Doink, made it work. Boogeyman, he's the Boogeyman, and he's making it work. Goldust made it work.
Yes.
Then he said, having the machine behind you is a separate conversation. I am talking about playing your part to the best of your ability, not holding out because you're not being booked the way you want to.
Wow.
Let's talk about it.
Ooh.
Everyone leaves WWE at some point, so if that is your point, grab a new number, stand back in line, and try again. Steve Austin made it work. The Rock made Rocky Maivia work.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Dave Bautista started as the Deacon and made it work, so he earned the right to be the Animal.
The Rock made The Rock work, not Rocky Maivia. There's a difference.
Kayfabe is dead, and furthermore, an archaic concept. There's a lot more than you currently know that goes into pro wrestling, sports, entertainment, whatever you call it, and the world should know because this ain't the carnival anymore. And then he said, name a TV show on network TV that you watch where a majority of the actresses and actors get to control the script. Go.
It's not the same thing.
All right, fair.
It's not the same thing in any way, shape, or form, for God's sakes.
Well, I think comparatively, you compare it to SNL. Because Lorne Michaels has been there since the beginning.
I guess.
And the cast does participate in the creative of the show.
Yes, they create the sketches.
And similar because they haven't named the not ready for prime time players, just like superstars. And they are put on a national stage early, in their existence in entertainment. The difference is, SNL staff is heavily involved in the creative.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it does all go through Lorne Michaels. And, he is the...
He decides what gets on, what doesn't.
And I think he's kind of like the antithesis of Vince McMahon, where maybe if they're similar, whatever, but I don't think you can say SNL is creatively out of touch.
No.
And people can say that, I think, about WWE sometimes.
Yeah, in the long run. And this is funny because when he moves up to the roster and they turn him into Velvet Dust, we'll see how excited he is about playing that kind of character and seeing if he makes it work. It's real easy when you're out on the outside. When you step up into that realm, we'll see what happens. And maybe this is a way of getting pushed up into the roster by kissing the butt of creative. And I respect that. Everyone's got their path and their journey. But in the long run, once you get in there, we'll see what they do with him. If they screw him over, like they've screwed over the Ascension and screwed over so many people they've called up, EC3 is a great example. How is EC3 not making it work, for God's sakes? He doesn't have the opportunity.
Not being the opportunity, yeah.
Right. That's the thing that gets involved as well.
Yeah, I see a lot of people...
It's a very narrow argument that he's making.
I see a lot of people saying, after you've been called up to the main roster and 6 months later when you're chasing the 24/7 title around, then you can say these things,
exactly.
I will say this much, though, with those tweets, and then we can move on. Yep. But they don't seem that out of character for me with Velveteen Dream, because if you watched Tough Enough, this seems like Patrick Clark. I know people are saying it's him in character, and I think a lot of it is him and his character. But Patrick Clark was very opinionated about professional wrestling, specifically defending WWE and channeling the things that you've always heard them say about, falling in line and stuff. And so, I don't think it's that out of character for him. But I will say with The Miz, he does always make it work. So it doesn't surprise me to see him taken out of the title scene or anything like that. I'm happy he didn't beat Drew McIntyre, because he shouldn't beat Elias and Drew McIntyre.
Right.
And honestly, the stuff with Shane, where Shane then was like, you know what, we are going to have a match, and came in. I enjoyed it. I like that Shane was laying in the punches on Miz's face since he's been getting shit for having bad punches lately and stuff. So he kind of was laying him in there a little bit. Yeah, I didn't love this match, and I didn't love the opening, but it was passable entertainment.
Yeah, certainly. And so we move on, and we should. Let me jump into this now with you. We missed the Firefly Funhouse yesterday.
I know.
I'm so sorry.
I know that Rocha said it was a time thing too, and he does make those decisions sometimes, because I was getting a little chatty on the Raw recap. We were. But I did, to the few people who said something, I literally, right when we sat down, I saw one tweet about the Fly House, and I was like, or Fun House, and I was like, oh, Rocha, we didn't talk about it. And then he explained to me the time thing or whatever. But it's interesting. I didn't love this week's Funhouse.
It kind of crossed that line, didn't you think? Like him smashing the rabbit to pieces and tasting the blood.
I liked it. I liked it.
Okay.
Mainly I liked it because I liked the one part where he said, I want to tell everyone what's really going on here in the Funhouse. Because it does open you up to like, you know something weird's going on there.
And that's his voice. You could tell by the speech pattern, that's Bray's voice.
From what I hear, they're all his voice.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know why. I really just like that one part. I mean, I guess I didn't dislike this week's. It was just not the best one, I guess.
Okay.
Right? What do you think? Because I thought them putting out a shirt real fast on. I was like, this wasn't deserving of a shirt like the gym one was.
Right. It's unsettling. This one was a little more unsettling for me, and so I don't know. I get it. You know, you talk. Do you want me to bring the Fiend in? And everyone starts shaking. So clearly, is that going to be his name? The Fiend? Is the Fiend going to be the name?
Sounded like it to me.
Yeah. So okay, you've got that to play
like
with.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we got that going on, but him smashing the thing and then tasting the blood and saying it's great and then saying it's jam. I get it. He's crazy. But I thought that just a little bit that crossed the line, but you know, whatever. Maybe it's not for me. So it's just that's it. But certainly not the execution of it all. I thought that was unsettling as hell. Which is
great.
Point.
It was still well done.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. I'm being very nitpicky.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it. I think that I would really like to see one little wrinkle of like, I know that the rabbit said something about it, but I really wanted to like get, I don't know, just some kind of like additional furthering of like where we are, what's going on.
I think the break is coming where all of them turn on him, all the voices turn on him, and maybe start chanting in unison, like for the Fiend or something to inspire the Fiend to come out. And then that's the end of these.
He hasn't walked through the door yet, right?
No, not yet.
He's only walked into the room, but we haven't seen him like open the door and walk out of the room yet, right?
It's the same door that Aleister Black had opened, so
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
I hope that's not.
Okay, good. Next. But yeah, we're definitely get to that. But let's get back to SmackDown. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose hassle Ember Moon and smash her electronic device while they throw stacks of that Hers magazine onto her. This was weird.
This was dumb to me.
Right? Because why does Ember flip out after they leave? Shouldn't Ember kick the shit out of both of them right there in that moment and throw her stuff into the trash?
I also think that like
and Sonya's stepping up. I was like, okay.
I also think that it puts like a unnecessary wrinkle in Ember Moon's character.
Yeah.
Like her love of video games doesn't need to be brought into her character unless they're totally going to change her gimmick.
Yeah.
Because I feel like to me it was such separate things. Like she's supposed to be this like fire goddess thing that comes out and is like, you know, this like angry, and then she's like backstage playing Switch. And you know, I'm okay. It's one thing for me when I see wrestlers on Twitter, social media, playing video games, going to video game conventions, and her talking about how much she loves E3 and all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But this is like a TV show, and I don't know if like, and like I said, unless they're trying to like alter her gimmick a little bit and make her more of a real person and less of like this like fire goddess thing or whatever. But to me, I've always felt like that was kind of like her gimmick, right?
Yeah, it was.
And so, yeah, I just felt like making her a gaming nerd isn't necessarily like a way that's gonna help her character at all. And I realized it was an offhanded backstage segment, but right?
Yeah, and she's over already.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's mind-blowing. You don't need to change her thing. She was over before she got injured. Bring her into the fold. Give her someone to fight. Maybe this is the setup here with Sonya and Mandy down the road. But give her a program to work. She'll be fine. The fans love her. You don't need to throw in the video game element thing. Maybe they're trying to connect to a certain crowd, a certain age demographic. I get that, but I don't know. Ember doesn't really need it. She's fine just as she is.
Yeah, and I feel
just
like...
give her TV time.
Yeah, and I don't think that backstage segments like this where she has to flex an acting muscle are necessarily her strength.
1,000% agree with you. I don't think this is her element yet.
No, like
There's
honestly,
work to be done here.
She was like dwarfed by Mandy and Sonya, who do shine in that role. And that's not a knock on her because I think she shines way harder in the ring than those two. I think she's like she's a fantastic wrestler.
Yes.
And I feel like those, they could do cool promos in the back with her with some cool lighting where she seems tough as opposed to like a whiny nerd who, like you said,
Yeah.
when these people broke her switch, she didn't even do anything about it. She just screamed in the corner.
Yeah. And then threw a thing like a temper tantrum
Yeah.
instead of kicking their ass, which is what she should do.
She should have just chased them down behind and slammed their heads to the ground and stomped them in.
Because she's a fantastic wrestler, exactly like you said. All right, well, we move on. Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan come out to talk about a title unification a match with the tag champions of YOLO County, dog. Heavy Machinery comes out, interrupts them. They talk smack to Bryan and Rowan. And then Bryan and Rowan said, well, if you think you're all that, why don't you take on the champions of YOLO County? They absolutely destroy them. Heavy Machinery does. And so this is basically set up for these four guys to go at it. I like it. Heavy Machinery, the promo walking out was really funny. So I'm down.
Yeah, it made no sense, the YOLO County thing, but it was hilarious.
Sense.
But
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, as silly as it was that there was no explanation whatsoever for these guys with the cardboard tag titles.
Terrible.
For some reason, I enjoyed it very much. Speaking of Tough Enough, another Tough Enough alum here. We've had a lot of Tough Enough people we've talked about in this show, but AJ Kirsch was one of the guys.
Okay.
He was on Tough Enough, one of the seasons of Tough Enough.
Okay.
One of the YOLO County Tag Team Champions. I forget what his name is, but he does that Hood Slam indie. He works with Hood Slam a lot. That indie company. But yeah, I like this. I was actually shocked at the growth of Tucker on the mic.
Yeah.
He was really good on the mic.
Yep.
He did a really good job lately in general when they've given him that opportunity. And I like just kind of like their updated look a little bit. The Heavy Machinery, and Otis is just such a good time.
He really is.
Good time. He had that whole like, it's a good time. Good time when he was doing that whole thing. Nobody loves to hump the air more than Otis.
Yeah, true.
I love that that's become his taunt, because if that's in the video games, I am 100% giving that to all my wrestling characters.
The Worm needs to be in the video games as well.
Yeah, I think the Worm...
Is it?
No, I don't think it is currently.
It'll
be back for Otis.
Okay, because I might buy 2K19 this week. They dropped it like $20, $25.
Yeah.
So I may be buying that.
It's a good game. I play it every. I still play it every week. Most people hate it.
Only when the girlfriend's out of the house.
Most people like talk shit on it.
Really?
But everyone likes talk shit.
The
on
gameplay?
everything. Yeah, but honestly, I still play it as often as I can.
Okay.
So
well, there you go.
Maybe I don't know. I enjoy it. I'm also not like a huge gamer, so I don't know.
Right.
But I also liked the little and I don't know if it's like a thing they're always gonna do now, but I liked the way they did their finisher this week. They did like that whole like
compactor
thing,
compactor,
caught it, then the compactor, then he moved, and Tucker did the other move.
Great.
Looked really cool.
I loved it. It's still within the 5-second rule of two people in the ring at the same time.
And I think that people really are starting to like Heavy Machinery. And, I think that they tried to use Daniel Bryan to get the Bludgeon Brothers over way back when, and it didn't really work. With the roles reversed and him a heel now, I think it's easier for him to get people over when he's the heel as opposed to the face.
Right.
And I think that he's going to do a good job in getting. They're going to do a good job of getting Heavy Machinery over.
Yeah. Ironically, with one half of the Bludgeon Brothers. So yeah.
Yeah.
So still working out. Yeah, exactly. All right.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. He's still working on it.
So now we get to this portion of the show that's called the Aleister Black promo. This almost undercut everything he'd done before. This was borderline ridiculous. Opening the door and begging someone to come pick a fight with him. It seemed almost pathetic. And so nothing against Aleister Black. He's a great talent, for God's sakes. But this, I didn't like this at all.
Yeah, it was a little odd. I don't think making you laugh is the way that they want to go with Aleister Black. I don't think that was the intention either. But it was a little much. And obviously this was directed from someone of like, show some real fire, something like that. And I don't know if it came across the way they would have liked. It is kind of silly now that he keeps screaming about someone challenge him.
Yeah.
Like, just go beat someone up if you want to fight someone.
You're right. Why do you wait?
Who are you that they're supposed to challenge?
Here's a suggestion. Shane McMahon's right down the hall. Why don't you go ask him for a fight? Ask him to schedule somebody. I mean, that's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
It almost seems like he's like sitting around just waiting for someone to show up and be like, hey, man, you want to have a fight? It's just weird.
And I know that they don't want to make Aleister Black new Undertaker. I know Aleister Black doesn't want to be new Undertaker. However, one of the things that made Undertaker as cool as he was the silence.
Yes.
I know he cut promos, but he had a very like scary kind of tone, and it wasn't like someone throwing a temper tantrum in a room, you know. And I don't think it paints a cool picture of him, you know. Like he should just be cool, calm, and collected, and fire up when need be. This kind of made it look like he was going to court or sitting there for a job interview or
hire me.
Please hire me. So yeah, I do think it was a little bit of a miss. However, I don't think it's bad to add character to Aleister Black. To add like to do these things. I do think that lots of promos like this along the way, one, show that they're behind Aleister Black, and two, does acclimate him to the audience more than just throwing him out there in random matches would.
Yeah, agreed. We'll see what happens as this plays out. Because, I mean, we're hitting that breaking point where he's got to get in some match somewhere. The next step is him with a banner out in the middle of the crowd going, I need a match. All right, so let's move on to 24/7 title vignette starts here. This is fantastic.
Oh, these were great.
Yeah, Carmella and R-Truth are out there in the back. R-Truth freaking out. He starts talking about losing the title on the tarmac, winning it at 49,000 feet Celsius. And God love Carmella for giving the subtle, okay, sure, whatever. He's suffering traumatization, apparently. And then eventually, Carmella suggested he get in this box.
Because someone's coming. She closes the lid. He keeps saying, don't lock me in here, don't lock me in here. She accidentally locks him in there and leaves him there because she has to go for a match. She gets called for her match. And then later on, the Maharaja shows up and hears him in the box and then imitates Mella's voice. They may have finally found what to do with him, because this was very funny. It was great. So I was laughing so much.
This should be the through line now. It should be R-Truth and the Maharaj constantly.
They've been kind of the main two.
Yeah, I want it to be continuing and building upon this, because him imitating Mella's voice was hilarious and kind of a next layer to this situation that could be very funny.
I like that R-Truth has almost become, because of the 24/7 title, has almost become like the Larry David of WWE, where each episode things just get gradually worse for him, you know? And that was this where, you know, he's scared. He's dealing with trauma. Then he gets in the box, and then he like can't breathe. My last two breaths.
Oh, yeah, can't breathe.
These are my last two breaths, which
take shallow breaths.
Crack me up. Yeah. And then the Jinder Mahal thing, finding him, and then trying to get him out of there, or trying to find a referee to get him out of there, or whatever, and then getting transported to LA, and nobody can find him. Yeah, I love it. Honestly, we all dumped on the 24/7 title, more so from the name and the weird look of the title. But at the end of the day, it's been a welcome addition to the broadcast.
There's no crime in admitting that you were wrong. Initially, we felt a certain way about that 24/7 title, as you said, because look, but they've won us over. Oh, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of their job.
I love the 24/7 title so much. These segments are hilarious. This one was cracking me up. I can't wait to see what happens in LA next week.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a shame. I was invited by a friend of mine to be in a suite, but apparently he's got to go take Matt Bomber around tomorrow, next Monday. So I'm not going to the thing. The son of a bitch.
Fucking Matt Bomber.
I know.
Bomer. Isn't it Bomer?
I think it's Bomber.
I think it's Bomer.
No one would willingly go Bomber.
No one watching this cares except for you and I.
It's Bomber. But he's in Doom Patrol, which is fantastic. So, all right, Sonya takes on Carmella here in this fight. And this was interesting. Sonya, even as a heel, fighting with the pride flag in her pocket.
I like that.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that.
I feel like she had a whole new look, right? She did. Okay, that wasn't just me. Yeah. I really thought this new look trumped her old look, because I wasn't sure if I just hadn't seen it or not, or hadn't noticed it, because maybe the pride flag or whatever I hadn't noticed. I didn't think I noticed that either. I felt like her old look, she looked like a wannabe MMA fighter, kind of. Yes, and I don't feel like she looks like that now.
Wannabe gladiator MMA fighter.
Yeah. I don't feel like she looks like that way at all right now. I very much liked her new look. I felt like this match was a very good match.
I like this match a lot.
Yeah. I love when Carmella switches into that submission move. The way she transitions into that is so good.
Yep. And Mandy Rose with some interference throughout the match. Eventually costs Carmella the match. Sonya gets the victory here, and they roll out. I like this. If they're building this up, this Carmella versus Sonya or Carmella versus Mandy. Maybe it's Ember versus Mandy and Carmella versus Sonya. Either way, I like this whole situation with all 4 of these ladies. So let's see how this goes on. All right, let's move on to another ladies, and that's Nikki Cross and Alexa. They're in the back there. Alexa Bliss is on her phone. Nikki comes in. And they have a weird kind of intro exchange. Nikki, pick up the pace on the cues, girl, and says that Bayley apparently liked tweets that were negative about Nikki after Nikki's interference at Raw. But unfortunately and conveniently, Alexa can't show Bayley liking those tweets because she blocked Bayley when she did the same thing.
Why didn't she just switch to the burner account?
Yeah,
That's what the burner accounts are for.
Or here's the other suggestion. Why don't you use Nikki's phone to look up those likes or dislikes on the comments? That's certainly possible as well. But Nikki apparently believes her, and then Alexa convinces her to go and not hold back in her match against Bayley.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole like face on one show, heel on the other show is a weird thing they're doing with her. I liked them bringing the social media stuff into it.
Sure.
Only because it's a known thing that they are kind of like, there's a little bit of beef between the Alexa and Sasha and Bayley, and so
and Alexa and Banks.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Sasha Bayley, which is a good mixture of both.
Sasha and Bayley. What did you say?
Alexa and Sasha is the beef, isn't it, or is Alexa and
Alexa.
Bayley?
That's what I'm saying. Alexa and Sasha, and Bayley.
Right.
Did I say Sasha Bayley?
Yeah, you did.
Got it.
That was good.
Got it.
Hashtag Benifer. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I laughed at it. And same for the backstage segment when they went up to Bayley and was like, "Do you have any comment about liking negative tweets about Nikki Cross or whatever?" That made me laugh because that's how I feel as a wrestling reporter sometimes, of having to ask really stupid questions to people like that, like, "Oh, did you see so and so unfollowed so and so?" But that's what people want to read. So
yeah, true. But then we move on. That's a match coming up later on in the night. We get New Day. Big E is finally officially back.
Officially.
Did not turn on them.
Thank God.
He promoted.
Although my girlfriend, while we're watching, goes, "I kind of want Big E to turn on them," and I went, "No, I'm not dating Rocha."
Erica, shout out, girl.
She's not watching.
They promo it up as they talk about taking on Zayn, KO, and Ziggler. Then Ziggler comes out to claim that he got the best of Kofi at Super Showdown. But he made a comment that kind of bothered me.
Okay.
He goes, waiting for the handouts. I thought that, man, I was like, the political implications of that term when you're an all-white team versus an all-black team, I just thought that was off base. I just thought it was off base.
It didn't even register with me.
Yeah, see, so for me, I just heard it and I was like, and I just didn't like it, so maybe we can move that part of it out. But then Sami Zayn and KO come out to do their heel promo, talking about justice. They need justice. They want to fight for justice, blah, blah, blah. And then Zayn gets thrown off by Kofi, which I love that. I was surprised. Zayn usually rolls with anything, but he got a little thrown off by Kofi and almost broke, which I thought was great. So good promo all around for all 6.
Yeah, I also loved in the beginning when they made that booking joke when it was like, I forget exactly what but I just remember it ended with him going like, "It's a booking joke." Yeah, no, like I'm getting a flight or whatever, and they like that was very DX. And also seemed like one of those things I was talking about where they're giving him a little leeway because I was surprised to hear them talking about booking jokes. On TV. But I loved it. Yeah, I loved hearing Big E back. I loved seeing Big E back.
Yeah.
He looked energized later when they wrestled. But yeah, no, New Day is never going to be bad on the mic to me. They're the chemistry the 3 of them have together when they're back at full homeostasis is the best. So I was very happy to see Big E back. And Sami Zayn has become a highlight of all of WWE.
Agreed.
And so I very much enjoyed what he did during the match, during this promo, all around. I have enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right, then we move on to the Bayley. You mentioned the Bayley promo already, but Bayley takes on Nikki Cross. This is weird. Nikki comes out to Alexa's music.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
However, it makes me think that they're giving her new music soon to get her away from the what's it called, Sanity music.
The Sanity music, yeah. Okay, we'll see how that plays out. This was a good match, really good match. Felt like an NXT match in the middle of SmackDown, which I liked. Nikki certainly got a few moments where she looked like she might pull off this victory. In the end, she does lose. Bayley's certainly a lot more vicious. This is a great Bayley. This is an awesome, awesome Bayley. Please don't lose this Bayley. Don't soften this Bayley. Don't take the edges off this Bayley. Let this Bayley breathe because the fans want to see this Bayley. I love that she looked at Alexa and pointed at her and then did the elbow drop, then looked at her for the 1, 2, 3. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was very well done.
So we're going to see this. I hope this is a fantastic match between them coming up.
Yeah, I liked the match. As much as it bums me out to see Nikki kind of like not getting a firm, like she's getting used, but not like a push, I would say.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, she's being used. Regardless, it's a bummer to see her losing, but it's better than not seeing her at all.
Right.
You know, and like you said, it was a really good match. A welcome addition to the middle of the show.
Right.
Yeah, I liked the match. I thought the whole pointing thing was very good too. It did add a little toughness to Bayley, and I'm always a fan of the elbow drop.
Yeah,
so seeing a match end with the elbow drop is always cool.
Yeah. Well, this will be interesting as it goes on, because it was clear from Nikki's reaction, she's walking up the ramp, that she was confused to be in between these two. So is that a little subtle element that she's playing that could come into play at Stomping Grounds? We'll see. Maybe she turns on Alexa. Maybe this is a quick turn on Alexa, and it helps Bayley get the victory, and she keeps the belt. Because I think the last thing Alexa needs is to win the belt. I think
she's gonna turn heel. I think she's gonna.
Nikki's gonna turn heel.
I think she's gonna help Nikki.
Wow. Or help Alexa.
Sorry, help Alexa.
Yeah.
And
really?
So that Alexa regains the title because she feels like a little bit of like, she helped me, I gotta help her kind of thing. And then that'll be the way people start to boo Nikki Cross.
Okay.
That seems to make the most sense.
Okay.
Because she's conflicted, yeah. But is she gonna side with the people who were liking mean tweets about her?
But she
or the
never
person
saw.
who gave her a chance?
They were lies. Once she finds out that they're lies.
Were they?
I think they were lies.
I'm gonna have to go look on
Bayley's busy. She had no time to be liking people's tweets. Bayley busy. Bayley busy.
Let's see if she liked any.
All right, so we did finish that vignette with R-Truth. He is going to L.A. It bothered me, Byron Saxton going like, what's going to happen to R-Truth? Brother, just yank it back a little bit.
I loved him doing that.
That was ridiculous.
No, I loved it.
Too far.
I loved it. It was like it was him totally playing into it. No, I loved it. I like them playing up the silliness of the 24/7 title. I'm into it.
Fair enough.
It was very much like it was very much like a cartoon vibe, so I was into that. Yeah.
Certainly. All right, and then we end the show with the 6-man tag, New Day taking on Zayn, KO, and Ziggler. And this was, once again, fantastic match. Great back and forth. Everybody got their shots. Xavier Woods was getting his butt kicked for a majority of this damn thing. I felt so bad for him because that's how they always set it up. Big E had his spots, and then eventually Kofi gets the victory here over Sami Zayn again, pins Sami Zayn again. So they're really pushing Kofi. They are really, really giving him.
Well, I hope so. He's the
push.
champion.
Yeah, but I mean, you could get Big E coming back, getting the victory, but they really want to push the idea of Kofi being the champion for a while here. I think I'm looking forward to this steel cage match. I don't know what I'm going to see, but I'm looking forward to it because both these guys are high flyers and they're fun and they can work a match. Work, and I mean work. They're workers. So I'm excited to see this match.
Yeah, I feel like Woods and Big E were very refreshed here.
Yes.
They were like ready to go. I feel like there were some cool things in the match where Big E was suplexing the shit out of Dolph Ziggler, and he did that cool thing where like it looked like he was gonna backdrop him or suplex him over the ropes, and when Ziggler came right out, he kind of like ducked under it and then did a different kind of cool suplex. I enjoyed it. I also thought Xavier Woods had a cool spot in the match where one of my favorite moves is the roaring elbow, and he did the like spinning elbow thing, and it looked dope.
Yeah.
And he had a cool little flurry in the of offense in the match that I thought was really cool looking. And yeah, I think they made Kofi look strong. I feel like everyone played their part well here. I don't think anyone on the other side was made to look weak, really.
No, I don't think so.
I think that all around they all played their part well here. I actually really enjoyed the match.
Yeah, me too. I was really thrilled to sit back and be able to enjoy this match at the end of SmackDown and see the New Day back together.
Yeah,
and
there was really good
well.
6-man tag matches this week. There was that one on Raw. There was this one that closed this episode of SmackDown. Good matches in general this week in WWE. I do think that they've been catching a lot of flack the past couple of weeks, and I know that people kind of enjoy dumping on someone. It's what the internet does these days on social media.
Especially if you're the top dog.
Yeah. But I haven't seen enough people give props for this week's shows. I know that like it's the in thing to do is to make fun of WWE when you're a wrestling fan, like you said, because they're the top. But yeah, I actually thought they were really good episodes of the shows this week.
Agreed. One last thing, I don't want to go. I'd be remiss not to mention the Apollo Crews promo. Did you like that?
If they're gonna do something with it, if they're gonna transition
if it's
into
Andrade
something,
and Apollo,
I'm into that.
Okay.
I'm into an Apollo push in general because I think he's insanely talented.
Yes.
I just don't want them to give up on it. I don't want them to like, if it was just to have one match where he's gonna lose, then it was pointless.
Right.
But if it's to kind of get him involved in the Intercontinental title scene, then that's a huge plus in my opinion.
Yeah, Zelina came out to confront him and went back and forth. Andrade, she even rolled her D's. I was a little confused by that, but all right. But I like the back and forth. I like that she's getting involved more and more. She should be the mouthpiece, for God's sakes, and let this go forward. And we'll see how this all plays out. One last thing. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm also planning to watch 205 Live as soon as we finish recording this. Just because everyone said this week's episode was fantastic.
John Quasto tweeted about it.
Yeah,
so
people are saying.
John tells me to watch it.
People are saying good things about it. Well, John Quasto works for the company.
Well, yes,
so I don't know if you
John,
can fully pay attention.
Come on.
I'm just saying. I mean, like he's not
John's
going to tweet saying it's a bad show when he works at WWE.
But if he's tweeting out that it was a good show when he doesn't tweet about 205 Live every week, then it makes me feel like it was a good show.
I'll love Johnny Quasto, but yeah, Gable. I want to see Chad Gable. He came.
That was another thing too that was being written.
Well, I thought they were using
his haircut,
set it up for him on SmackDown, but then he came out on 205 Live and wrestled Jack Gallagher, and kind of has like an updated vibe. So I'm interested to see how that looks. Yeah, the haircut, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to watch that.
Okay. And the Iconics had a promo on WWE.com.
I didn't watch it yet.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. They came out for like a minute and a half and made fun of Sacramento and then rolled out. That's good stuff. They did a nice work.
I like that they're doing these WWE.com things. It seems like they, because they were tweeting out too many videos of what was actually happening on Raw, but they still want to have social media content. Now they're like doing these like things during commercials, which I think is a smart idea.
Yep, Dana was flexing with them on Monday night.
Mojo had one too.
Yeah, Mojo did too as well. Got to use Mojo for something. All right, well, thanks everybody. Oh, come on. Thanks everybody for watching this SmackDown Live recap. Really appreciate all the comments, the tweets, the likes, even when you're mad at us for missing Firefly Funhouse.
Things to you.
Yeah, I like it because I like to go back at the fans sometimes. But don't be so dramatic. We'll get to it. But I really appreciate all this stuff. We really appreciate all the stuff you guys are doing.
No, I do.
Ryan, tell them where they can find and read and watch everything we do.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where we post stories all throughout the week and on everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where the videos go. Get the Raw and SmackDown recaps with myself and John Rocha. You get Wrestling Sheet Radio Thursday nights with me, Jamie Iovine, and Elijah Bates, and all sorts of other stuff. So make sure you guys go check it out. It's youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. While you're there, subscribe, comment, like. Those of you who actually go tweet out the links afterwards and talk about enjoying the show, I do appreciate it. I was kidding when I said to Rocha. I appreciate it very much. So please keep doing that. It means a lot to me. And if you just want to listen to everything we're doing here, you can check out the podcast feed as well. It's Wrestling Sheet Radio on all the major podcast platforms: Spotify, Twitch, not on Twitch, Stitcher.
Sorry,
Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Podcast One, all the major podcast platforms. That's where you can check out the show. You can also follow us on social media. It's at Wrestling Sheet.
All the hullabaloo and the tomfoolery and the hijinks. What's the big story you guys worked on yesterday on the Wrestling Sheet? Is there a big one that broke yesterday? Any breaking news?
Well, I mean, yesterday was really just kind of like the Bautista story.
Yes, which was great.
It was the Batista interview.
I
was really focused on that. Well, we talked about it on the Raw recap.
So if you're watching SmackDown and not the Raw recap, go and listen to that Batista interview. Great 45 minutes. I listened to it last night. Fantastic stuff and really wide open conversation about these things that he's involved in. So do yourself a favor and listen to Dave on that show with my man Ryan Satin here. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's at Ryan Satin. I'm at The Rocha Says. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. And we will see you next week for a Raw recap and a SmackDown Live recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. Take care.
ProWrestlingSheet.com